Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Whitney has the evening off. Well, last night, shots were fired on Sprague near the Best Asian Market.
One of the bullets hit the building, but luckily no one was hurt. Today, KREM 2's Janelle Finch spoke with one of the employees who wants everyone to know this was not a targeted attack. Janelle?
Yesterday, a stray bullet hit the Best Asian Market right behind me here. Now, I spoke with the manager who told me he wants the community to know that this was a random accident and that he does feel safe being in the community. A nearby business owner says he heard 8 to 10 shots and police arrived to the scene quickly yesterday. Police were able to find the bullet that hit the store in a bag of rice, but no one was hurt. The store's manager says he thinks there were less customers today because people are assuming this was a racially motivated attack, but he says that's not the case.
It was just some random thing. It's not a hate crime or anything like that. It doesn't anything related to that, but except just, a stray bullet.
Tom Chu says the area around the market has come a long way with development over the years. His business is 30 years old. Police are currently reviewing the surveillance video of the market to try and identify the shooters. The manager also told me that the glass that they use for the door will not be available due to supply chain shortages, so they will be boarded up for some time, but he does say that the community is more than welcome to come back into his store and that it is safe to shop here. In Spokane, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Well, Governor Inslee has deployed the National Guard to support medical staffs across the state, including at Providence Sacred Heart.
Since January 21st, 19 Guard members have helped Sacred Heart caregivers in the emergency department and with COVID testing. The Providence chief executive says the hospital has seen a record number of more than 100 COVID patients this week. National Guard members have stepped up in non-clinical roles and helped with COVID contact tracing.
Governor Inslee sent the National Guard to 8 medical centers here in Washington state. The Providence chief executive says the National Guard has helped relieve some of the mental and physical exhaustion of their caregivers.
Having the Guard here frees up a clinical staff person to be able to go back and take care of patients or do their other duties as they would typically do. So that's how helpful this really is for us.
Well, the Guard is scheduled to leave Sacred Heart on February 19th. Despite seeing an increase in the number of COVID patients, the hospital says there are no plans to extend the Guard service.
Well, time is running out for parents to weigh in on whether you think the state should require public school students to be vaccinated against COVID-19. The State Board of Health launched a survey asking if the COVID-19 vaccine should be added to the required immunization list for schools. And tomorrow is the last day to comment. Right now, the State Board of Health requires 11 vaccines for students, including vaccines for measles, chickenpox, and polio. If you'd like a link to the survey, just text us the word vaccine to 509-448-2000. We'll send that link right to your phone.
All right, Washington Health Department is giving away more free at-home COVID-19 test kits. 2 weeks ago, it launched a portal to order them, but by the end of the first day, that supply was gone. More than 1 million gone. The portal now back up and running, so to order your free test kits, just go to sayyescovidhometest.org. Meantime, Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson's office filed a lawsuit against the company alleging invalid and false tests and billing the government for $124 million.
Well, the Center for COVID Control has been running nearly a dozen testing sites across the state. Well, the AG filed a lawsuit yesterday stating that the company improperly took patient insurance information and provided invalid COVID-19 test results, or at times no results at all. State Attorney General Bob Ferguson says the staff with the Center for COVID Control said they were instructed to lie to patients daily.
A scam is an understatement. I mean, anytime you are jeopardizing people's lives and the lives of their loved ones, that takes it to a whole nother level.
His office shared this photo alleging these garbage bags are filled with used tests that needed to be refrigerated. The lawsuit alleges the company violated the state's Consumer Protection Act. If guilty, penalties are more than $12,000 per violation.
Oh boy. Meantime, COVID cases and hospitalizations remain high here in the inland Northwest. 687 new cases were reported today. That's according to Spokane Regional Health District. 211 people now hospitalized right now. That's 5 less, though, than were hospitalized yesterday.
Meantime, in North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District is reporting 264 new cases today. They have about 4,900 cases on backlog right now. 103 people are currently hospitalized. That is a difference of 6 fewer people just since yesterday. Let's switch gears and talk about weather right now, Tom, because we did see a bit of sunshine today, but the story going into tomorrow morning, it sounds like, is just the cold temperatures.
Yeah, we didn't get above freezing today, and we're looking for overnight lows in the low teens. Many areas are going to drop down into the single digits. We kind of thought those sorts of temperatures were behind us, but not yet. 30 degrees, that's the current temperature. Wind out of the west at 10 miles an hour. Pretty dry across the area. As Mark noted, we had a little sunshine, at least in the Spokane area, parts of the inland northwest. We're seeing a little bit of snow now beginning to dissipate down in the southeastern Washington area. When we look at your day planner forecast, there's the cold weather down to 11 tonight, and then a high tomorrow of only 27. And then snow showers developing Wednesday night, especially for our viewers south of Spokane in the Washington and Idaho Palouse. For the weekend, right now it looks dry, 37 on Saturday, 39 on Sunday. I'll check the rest of your 7-day outlook coming up in a few minutes.
We had to return to the scene of a murder every day for the rest of the school year. Another 170 school days.
It is day 5 of the Freeman community sharing their victim impact statements. And today, some of the people who were the first line of defense against the killer shared their thoughts with the judge. Freeman teachers, they were there for the students during and after that deadly day back in the fall of 2017.
KREM 2's Amanda Rowley shares what one teacher witnessed just moments after the first gunshots were fired.
On the day of the shooting, Marty Jessett told the judge he heard several loud pops, the thunder of student footsteps, and screaming. Then he explained how he helped one of the injured students who ended up in his classroom.
Moments after the first gunshots were fired, Freeman teachers relied on their training and pulled students into their classroom, hoping they were out of harm's way.
The bullets flew towards my room, and he ran out of bullets just outside of my door. In fact, I know that he tried to shoot Emma a second time as she was entering my room.
Marty Jessett secured his classroom with several students, including Emma Neese, one of the students who was shot. He told the judge the reality of what happened began to set in when a student in the classroom alerted him to Emma's gunshot wound.
I literally reached for a Band-Aid from my desk to put on her gunshot wound. Too small, I thought to myself. I found athletic tape in my cupboard and bandaged the wound on her belly. I put a big X over the wound. Then Ellie's voice from behind me. Mr. Jessett, don't you think you should call 911?
He focused on trying to keep his students safe, but in the back of his mind, he couldn't help but think they were sitting ducks.
The vulnerable thoughts snuck in. What if the shooter or shooters come back?
Days later, when teachers and staff returned to school, Marty says his classroom looked like it was frozen in time from the day of the shooting.
With every notebook, book, pencil, and paper exactly where it had been when the first shot was fired. Even the geometry problem that I had up was still being projected onto the board with my document camera.
He says it was difficult being back there and barely made it through the first day. But there was comfort in the notes, coffee, and care packages the school received from the surrounding community.
Now, victim impact statements are on pause the rest of this week due to victim availability. We will continue to hear more statements in court next Wednesday. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, today the judge also heard from family members of Jordan Goldsmith. She's one of the 3 students who was shot at Freeman High School. One of her grandparents shared how that tragic day has impacted their family.
That day has changed all of us. I have seen it take its toll on Travis and Liz, JC and Tanner too. Doug and I have become overly emotional. Sometimes something little will trigger it and the tears will flow. I never used to be that way.
She told the judge she will relive the horror of that day for the rest of her life, which is why she asked the judge to sentence the shooter to life in prison.
If you'd like to hear more of the victim impact statements or learn more about the next steps in this case, just text us the word Freeman to 509-448-2000. In other news this evening, last night the Spokane City Council voted 5-2 to censure Councilmember Jonathan Bingle, and that was due to his refusal to wear a mask at times inside City Hall.
So this has led to some people asking what's next if Bingle keeps breaking mask rules. Well, according to the rules adopted last year, the council can censure or remove a member from committees and commissions. That requires 5 votes, but they can't remove another council member from the office. As for the city, spokesperson Brian Coddington said the council is legally trusted to discipline its members.
The council rules, as adopted a year ago, specifically state in, I think it's Rule 7.2, that discipline is the responsibility of the council members, and they are able to, with an affirmative vote of 5 members, impose discipline.
Coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, we'll have more on what the council or what the city or the council can do when it comes to disciplining council members.